Hello, and welcome to 20 Minutes with Jesus. Take a moment to settle your heart. Find a quiet place if you can. Allow this time to be a pause in your day. You don't need to rush. You don't need to have everything figured out. This is a moment to be still before God. Let's begin. Many people trust God with their words, but struggle to rest in their hearts. They believe God is faithful, yet their minds remain busy. Their thoughts stay alert, and their bodies hold tension. Trust feels active, but rest feels out of reach. This happens because rest requires surrender, not just belief. At the beginning of a new season, especially a new year, the pressure to plan, decide, and prepare often increases. Even when the heart wants to trust God, the mind feels responsible for staying ahead. Rest feels risky, as if slowing down might cause something to fall apart. But God invites us to rest precisely because He is in control. Rest is not disengagement. It is trust expressed through stillness. Many hearts resist rest because they confuse it with passivity. They believe resting means giving up, losing momentum, or becoming careless. But biblical rest is not about stopping life. It is about releasing the burden of control. God never asked you to carry everything. When the heart truly trusts God, rest becomes possible. Not because circumstances are calm, but because the soul believes it does not have to manage every outcome. Rest says, God is working even when I am still. This kind of rest feels unfamiliar at first. The mind may continue to race. Worries may still surface. But rest is learned. It is practiced. It grows as the heart repeatedly chooses to return to God's presence instead of remaining alert to every possible concern. Rest is an act of faith. It says that God is attentive, that He is capable, that He is present even when you are not actively doing something. At the beginning of a year, learning to rest while trusting God becomes essential. Without rest, trust turns into striving. Faith becomes effort instead of peace, but God desires both trust and rest to coexist. As we begin this episode, allow yourself to notice where rest feels difficult. Where does your heart stay tense even though you believe God is faithful? God gently invites you to bring that tension into His presence. Rest is not something you achieve. It is something you receive as you trust Him more deeply. Rest becomes difficult when trust feels fragile. Even when we believe God is faithful, the heart often stays alert, as if it needs to remain vigilant in order to prevent things from going wrong. Many people trust God in theory, but struggle to trust Him with their inner pace. They pray, believe, and obey, yet their minds continue to work overtime, scanning the future and rehearsing possibilities. This kind of restlessness does not come from lack of faith. It often comes from fear of losing control. At the beginning of a new season, especially a new year, the desire to be prepared intensifies. The heart feels responsible for anticipating challenges, making the right decisions, and avoiding mistakes. Rest feels unsafe, as if slowing down might cause something important to be missed. But God invites us to a deeper form of trust, one that allows the heart to rest even when the future is not fully clear. Rest is not the absence of faith. It is faith practiced quietly. True rest begins when the heart accepts that it was never meant to carry the full weight of the future. God does not ask us to manage outcomes. He asks us to remain connected to Him. When connection becomes the priority, rest follows naturally. Many people resist rest because they associate it with inactivity. But biblical rest is not passive. It is active trust. It is the decision to stop striving mentally and emotionally, even while life continues to move forward. Rest says, God is working, even when I am not. This kind of rest feels uncomfortable at first. The mind may resist slowing down. Worries may surface more clearly. Unanswered questions may feel louder. But this discomfort does not mean rest is wrong. It means the heart is learning a new rhythm. A rhythm that depends on God instead of on constant effort. God teaches us to rest by gently exposing how much we try to control. When we rest, we become aware of the tension we have been carrying. The pressure to predict, the need to perform, the fear of making mistakes. Rest invites us to place all of that into God's hands. Rest grows as trust deepens. When the heart believes that God is attentive, rest becomes possible. When the heart believes that God is capable, rest becomes natural. When the heart believes that God is present, rest becomes safe. This does not mean life becomes easy. It means the inner life becomes steadier. Challenges still exist, but they no longer dominate the heart. Decisions still need to be made, but they are approached with peace instead of urgency. At the beginning of a year, learning to rest while trusting God protects the heart from burnout. Many people begin new seasons with excitement, but quickly exhaust themselves by trying to do too much, too fast. God invites us to begin differently, not with speed, but with stillness. Rest allows God to set the pace. When we rest, we allow God to guide timing, not pressure. We allow Him to order steps, not anxiety. We give Him space to speak and direct rather than rushing ahead on our own understanding. Rest also teaches the heart how to wait without fear. Waiting without rest feels heavy and frustrating. Waiting with rest feels purposeful and calm. Rest reminds the heart that waiting is not wasted time. It is time God uses to align, prepare, and strengthen us. The heart learns that it does not need to rush into the future to be faithful. Trusting God while resting also reshapes how failure is feared. When the heart rests, it accepts that mistakes do not disqualify it from God's care. God is able to guide, correct, and redeem every step. Rest releases the pressure to be perfect. This is why rest is deeply spiritual. It requires humility. It requires surrender. It requires trust beyond understanding. As this episode continues, consider where rest feels difficult for you. Where does your mind stay alert even though you believe God is faithful? Where do you feel responsible for outcomes God never asked you to carry? God gently invites you to lay those burdens down. Rest is not something you earn. It is something you receive. And as you learn to rest while trusting God, your heart will discover a quieter, deeper confidence. One that does not depend on answers, but on relationship. Learning to rest while trusting God does more than calm the mind. It reshapes the inner life. Rest is not simply a pause from activity. It is a reorientation of the heart. When rest becomes rooted in trust, it begins to change how we think, how we feel, and how we respond to life. Many people believe rest is something they will experience once circumstances improve. They tell themselves they will rest after decisions are made, after problems are solved, or after life becomes more stable. But God invites us to rest before everything is resolved. Rest, in this sense, is not a reward for reaching clarity. It is a foundation for walking faithfully without it. Rest exposes where the heart has been striving. When the heart slows down, hidden pressures surface. The need to stay ahead, the fear of falling behind, the belief that everything depends on personal effort. Rest gently brings these tendencies into the light, not to shame us, but to heal us. God does not expose striving to condemn us. He exposes it to free us. True rest begins when the heart accepts its limits. Accepting limits is not weakness, it is wisdom. It acknowledges that we are human and that God is not. It recognizes that we were never designed to carry the full weight of our lives alone. When limits are honored, rest becomes possible. When limits are ignored, exhaustion follows. Rest transforms the inner life by restoring balance. Instead of living from urgency, the heart learns to live from presence. Instead of reacting to every thought, the mind learns discernment. Instead of being driven by fear, the soul learns to trust. This transformation does not happen instantly. Rest is learned through repetition. Each time the heart chooses to pause instead of panic, something shifts. Each time worry arises and is surrendered, peace grows. Each time trust is chosen over control, rest deepens. God often uses rest to heal what striving has wounded. Striving hardens the heart over time. It creates tension, impatience, and emotional fatigue. Rest softens the heart. It allows space for compassion, clarity, and renewal. In rest, the soul remembers that it is cared for, guided, and sustained by God. Rest also changes how God is perceived. When the heart is constantly striving, God can feel distant or demanding. But when the heart rests, God feels near and attentive. Rest allows relationship to move from duty to intimacy. Trust grows not because God does more, but because the heart becomes more aware of His presence. This awareness brings stability. Life does not suddenly become predictable. Challenges do not disappear, but the inner life becomes anchored. The heart no longer feels tossed by every uncertainty. It learns to remain steady even when circumstances are unsettled. Rest teaches the heart how to wait well. Waiting without rest creates frustration. Waiting with rest creates peace. Restful waiting does not mean passivity. It means remaining engaged without being anxious. It means continuing to pray, listen, and obey while releasing the pressure to force outcomes. This kind of waiting allows God's timing to unfold without resistance. At the beginning of a year or a new season, rest is especially transformative. New beginnings often bring pressure to act quickly and decisively. But God sometimes invites us to start slowly, allowing rest to establish the rhythm of the season. When rest leads, burnout is prevented and discernment is sharpened. Rest also changes how failure is understood. When the heart rests, it no longer views mistakes as disasters. It trusts that God is able to guide, correct, and redeem. This removes the fear of stepping forward imperfectly. Rest creates courage, not because outcomes are guaranteed, but because God's presence is trusted. The inner life becomes lighter in rest. Thoughts are no longer constantly rehearsing the future. Emotions are no longer always on alert. The soul is no longer bracing itself for what might go wrong. This lightness is not irresponsibility. It is faith expressed through calm. God desires this kind of rest for His people because it reflects trust. Rest says, I believe God is who He says He is. It says, I trust that God is working even when I am not. It says, I am willing to release what I cannot control. As you continue this episode, consider how rest has been viewed in your life. Has it felt optional or even dangerous? Has it felt undeserved? God invites you to see rest differently, not as something you must earn, but as something He freely offers. Rest is not escape, it is alignment. And when the heart aligns with God through rest, the inner life begins to change quietly, deeply, and steadily. Peace grows, trust strengthens, faith matures. This is the rest that transforms, not by removing challenges, but by anchoring the heart securely in God while walking through them. God, we come before you aware of how difficult it can be to truly rest. You see how often our bodies slow down, but our hearts remain alert. You know how easily our minds continue to work, plan, and worry, even when we say we trust you. Today, we bring this tension honestly into your presence. We confess that many times we believe in you, yet struggle to rest in you. We trust you with our words, but hold tightly to control in our thoughts. We ask you to gently teach us a deeper kind of trust, one that allows our hearts to rest without fear. God, quiet what feels restless within us. Where our minds feel overcrowded with concerns, bring clarity. Where our hearts feel pressured to anticipate everything, bring peace. Where fear disguises itself as responsibility, help us release it. We surrender the burden of having to manage outcomes. We lay down the need to foresee every step and solve every problem ahead of time. Teach us to trust that you are already present in the future we are worried about. Help us believe that nothing takes you by surprise. God, we invite you to reshape our understanding of rest. Teach us that rest is not laziness, but obedience. That rest is not disengagement, but surrender. That rest is not weakness, but faith expressed quietly. Heal the places in us that have been wounded by constant striving. Restore the parts of our hearts that have grown tired from carrying what was never ours to hold. Where disappointment has drained us, renew hope. Where exhaustion has dulled our joy, restore strength. God, help us learn how to pause without guilt, to breathe without fear, to trust without needing control. As we step into this season, we ask you to establish a new rhythm within us, a rhythm led by your presence, not by urgency, a rhythm shaped by trust, not by pressure. Teach us how to walk forward steadily, without rushing ahead of you or lagging behind in fear. We place our plans, our concerns, and our unanswered questions into your hands. We trust that you are guiding us even when the path feels unclear. We believe that you are working even when we are resting. Let your peace guard our hearts. Let your presence calm our thoughts. Let your faithfulness anchor our souls. We choose today to rest, not because everything is resolved, but because you are trustworthy. We choose to trust, not because we understand everything, but because you are good. Thank you for carrying what we cannot. Thank you for walking with us gently. Thank you for inviting us into rest that heals, restores, and renews. Amen. As we come to the end of this moment, allow your heart to remain still. You do not need to solve everything today. You are not behind. You are not failing. God is present, and He is carrying what feels heavy. Learning to rest while trusting God is a journey. Some days will feel easier than others, but each time you choose to pause, to release control, and to trust Him again, rest grows deeper within you. As you move forward, return to this place of calm whenever your heart feels tense. Let God's presence remind you that you are safe, guided, and deeply cared for. If this time encouraged you, continue walking closely with God each day. Allow Him to set the pace. Allow Him to restore what feels tired. Allow Him to lead you gently. May your heart remain at rest. May your trust grow steady. And may you walk forward knowing that God is with you.